All right, so hello, I'm Mrs. Robertson, and today we're going to be doing Chapter 2, Lesson 2, Percents and Fractions. And this is located on page 101 in your math book. Page 101. Now, we just finished watching a little video clip, which you would have access to if you're in your e-math book. You click on the little video icon at the bottom of your page, and it talked to us about what a percent is. A percent means what, class? Per what? Per 100. So that's whenever you have a percent, you have a fraction, and the denominator of the fraction is 100. Now let's look at this real world link. Students were asked to choose their favorite sport to play. For each sport, shade a 10 by 10 grid that represents the number of students out of 100 that chose the sport. So there are 100 squares here. You need to shade 3 out of 20. So we have to think about that. 3 out of 20. So 3 over 20 would be how many out of 100? How many are we going to shade out of 100? If you would shade 3 out of 20, how many would you shade out of 100? Yes. Do you know? You're thinking correctly. Yes. 15. It is 15 because 20 times 5 is 100 and 3 times 5 gives you 15. So shade 15 squares right there. Okay. Now you could have broken it up into groups of 20. I think I'll use a highlighter instead of that. So here is a 20. Oh, there's another 20, so I shade 3 out of that 20. That's another group of 20. I just now noticed that they have it broken down into 20s. And there are 5 20s in 100. And there are 5 3s equals 15. Okay? Now, you can tell this one is cut up into, that's 100, and each group is cut up into 25. There are 25, 25, 25, 25. 3 out of 25. So in each one of these 25s, you're going to shade 3. And if you have 4 groups of 3, 4 groups of 3 will equal 12. 3 over 25 equals 12 over 100. 25 times 4 is 100. 3 times 4 is 12. Back to groups of 20. 1 out of 20. So you can tell again, they have these in groups of 20. In each group of 20, shade 1. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 20. Shade 1 in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the answer will be 5. 1 over 20 equals 5 over 100. In this one, you just shade 9. 9 out of 100 will not simplify. It will just be 9 over 100. Okay? Now the nice thing about this, my highlighter got into that one there. We have them all over 100. So basketball is 15 over 100. Football, 12 over 100. Gymnastics, 5 over 100. And swimming, 9 over 100. These are all percents. When you have it over 100, this is 15%, 12%, 5%, 9%. Percent means per 100, and we have 100 as our denominator in all of these. Now let's go to the next page. Percents as fractions. Now we've already touched upon this. It says, a percent is a ratio that compares a number 2/100. We already said that, but let's underline it and really make sure we understand that. 45% means 45 out of 100 or 45 hundredths. Here are our models. This is 45% shaded, 45 out of 100. Here, this represents 100. Each one of these is 10, 20, 30, 40, and then that's cut into half. That's a 5 and a 5, 10. So that you have all of these, it equals 100. It's just another model to show that. It says to write a percent as a fraction, first write the percent as a rate per 100 and simplify. So they always like your fractions to be simplified. Okay, write 50% as a fraction in simplest form. Okay, all of you should know 50% is the same thing as what fraction? 1/2. Kids, this is one you should have memorized. Put a star by it. Do all of you know 50% is the same thing as a half? Yes. Thumbs up? Okay, good. 50%, we've got that one down. In a recent survey, 55% of cell phone owners said they text message. What fraction of a cell phone owners is this? Well, you just put 55 over 100. There's a fraction. But can it simplify? Yes. 5 divides 55 11 times, and 5 will divide 120. So I simplified it by dividing with the greatest common factor, 5. Now, I want you to do A, B, and C. Let's do those right now. Get going. The hardest part is the simplifying, isn't it, class? And it's not that hard. You're all getting good at that. What will divide a 75 and 100? I always, when I see 75, I think of quarters. Yes? 25. How many quarters are in 75 cents? 3. How many quarters are in 100 or $1? 4. So that's 3/4. Now, when they both end in a 0, what number divides all the numbers that end in a 0?
5.
5 will, but there's a bigger number than 5. 10. If it ends in a 0, you can divide them by 10. 90 divided by 10 is 9. 100 divided by 10 is 10. 9/10. This one, when they're both even, what will divide it? Yes?
No, I have a question. Can you cross off the 2 zeros on
You could just do that too, yes. Good question, and you have 9/10 that way. That's called a shortcut, dividing by 10. And I like doing that. Okay, what will divide a 38 and a 100? They're both even. What divides all of the even numbers in the world? Yes? 2. 38 divided by 2 is 19. 100 divided by 2 is 50. 19/50. Okay? And we did the fraction in simplest form. Okay? Sometimes I underline words in the directions to make sure I know what I'm doing. Let's go to page 103. Oh, we are looking at tables. They like tables. The table, right here, not the table like in the dinner table. The table shows the percent of each movie type rented during a month. What fraction of the rentals were action movies? Well, action is 35%. 35 over 100. What will divide 35 and 100? 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 100 divided by 5 is 20. 7/20. All right? Now, write the fraction of rentals that were horror movies. Okay. 5%. So that's 5 over what? 100. Percent means per 100. Now it will simplify. What divides 5 and 100? 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 100 divided by 5 is 20. The simplified fraction is 1/20. Fractions and percents. To write a fraction as a percent, find an equivalent ratio with 100 as the denominator. That's the bottom number of a fraction. So let's go on. Write the fraction 6/8 as a percent. Well, there are two ways of doing it. Here they scaled down 6/8 to 3/4. And then, if you're good with your facts, you know, oh, 4 times 25 is 100. 3 times 25 is 75. You get 75 over 100, and once it's over 100, that's 75%. So in this example, they want you to get it over 100, okay? So that's what they want you to do. They want you to scale down, if you can, and then scale up. Write the fraction 9/12 as a percent. Percent means per 100, so we have to get it over a 100. 9/12 equals something over 100. Now I left a space. Can 12 turn into a 100? No. So we're going to scale down. All right, this is my scale down one. What will divide a 9 and a 12? 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now, can 4 turn into a 100? Yes. 4 times what is 100? 25. 4 times 25 is 100. 3 times 25 is 75 over 100. And anything over 100 is our percent, because we want to find a percent. Okay? Now let's go to page 104. On page 104, we have example 5. Mitch made 12 out of 40 shots during the championship game. What percent of his shots did Mitch make? Well, they scaled down. They simplified. What will divide a 12 and a 40? 4 will. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 40 divided by 4 is 10. Now, 10 is a factor of 100. 10 times 10 is 100. 3 times 10 is 30. And the answer is 30 hundredths, which would be 30%. Now let's go to letter F. Alana spelled 19 out of 25 words correctly. What percent of the words did Alana spell correctly? We're going to set it up as a fraction. 19 over 25. And I like this problem because is 25 a factor of 100, kids? Yeah. Yes. You should be getting good at this. 25 times what is 100? Yeah. 4 quarters is 100. So 19 times 4 is 76. So what's my percent? They want a percent. 76 over 100 equals what percent? 76%. Any questions? Bless you. Now let's go to problem number 1. Write each percent as a fraction. Well, that's easy. 15 over what? Very good. But now we simplify. What divides a 15 and 100? 5. You are very good. 3/20. Okay, let's go on to the next one. It's going to be 80 over 100. These are all going to start off as over 100. Let's just divide it by 10, shall we? Boom. That was fast. Now, oh, can 8 over 10 simplify again? Yep, 2 divides it. 4/5. This one you're going to like. It's 33 over 100, and it won't simplify. 33 and 100 don't have any common factors. Any questions? Good. These are pretty easy too. Write each fraction as a percent. Use a model if needed. I don't think you kids are going to be needing models. Now, to get it as a percent, I need to get it over 100 first. 10 times what's 100? And so what's 3 times 10? Yeah, 3 times 10 is 30. So my percent is 30%. I have to get this over 100. 20 times what's 100? Right, 20 times 5. So 3 times 5 is 15 over 100. 15%. And this one we need to get it over 100. 5 times what's 100? Excuse me, 20. and 2 times 20 is 40, so the answer is 40%. Last problem on the guided practice. Elsa ran 7 out of 10 days. What percent of the days did she run? 7 over 10 equals what over 100? 10 times 10 is 100. 7 times 10 is 70. So the answer is 70%. And the last, our essential question. Why is it helpful to write a fraction as a percent? Anyone have an idea? Well, if they're written as percents, it's easier to compare values, okay? When written as a percent, it is easier to compare values. Like, if I say 1/2 and 2/5, it might mean more if I said 50% and 40%. That sometimes means a lot more than if you say 1/2 and 2/5. That's an example there. So what are we going to do for homework? It's Friday. I don't want you to have to do anything really for homework. So we have plenty of time to do page 105. Do all on page 105. 1, 2, 13, and 13 is one of the house problems. Those are always real important. And I think we'll just stop there. If you have more time, please feel free to go on and do the other problems for extra practice. So let's get going. Do 1 to 13, and I hope to have time to give you the answers at the end of class. All right.